The Serpentbone blade is lovely because it takes many of the preconceived notions that you have about the katana weapon class and throws them out the window. For this build video, I shall show the not a bleed proccing successive attack power build, but a playstyle that focuses on heavy attacks and deadly poison procs. To acquire the Serpentbone blade, you need only advance through the Volcano Manor questline. The light attacks are nothing out of the ordinary, but when you hold down the R2 button, you'll notice that it's not a typical slash or thrust, but rather a double swipe. This is shared with the Sword of Night, and the only way to get this move outside of the DLC. This move will deal most of our damage. Sure, the light attacks are great, and sneaking them in to build up more deadly poison will help us proc the status effect and increase our damage even more due to the Kindred of Rot's exaltation, but I ask that you focus on those heavies. It is a much more methodical approach than your usual katana playstyle. That brings us to the Ash of War. It is double slash and unchangeable. This may be a normal smithing stone weapon, but the Ash of War is stuck on it. Double slash isn't bad, but among the katanas, it is far from the best Ash of War to have. So therefore, this is the second week in a row that I did not use the Ash of War at all throughout the run. Our spells for this week were the typical Golden Vow and Flame Grant Me Strength. Golden Vow gives us 15% more damage and 10% more damage negation, and Flame Grant Me Strength will give us a 20% boost to physical attack and more stamina regeneration. At the start of the fight, you want to use the buffs in descending duration order. First the Flask, then Golden Vow, then Flame Grant Me Strength. Since opening moves are predictable, hit them with one or two fully charged heavy attacks. This may not apply as much deadly poison buildup as spamming R1 attacks, but since we are using heavy attacks, enemy poise will break much faster. I usually don't see too many poise breaks on katana-based builds unless I'm using something like Unsheath, so this was a nice change of pace. Be sure to be extra aggressive once you proc that deadly poison, since we get a buff from the aforementioned Kindred of Rot's exaltation. And I also used the poison hand in my offhand. This gives us another buff when we proc poison in the area. Once all is said and done, this is still a katana, so it'll be faster than many weapons in the game, but in comparison to any other katana build I've done before, this was at a much more relaxed pace, felt much more deliberate, and was a fine juxtaposition against last week's crazy build, that being the hook claws. Focusing on the heavy attacks for a katana is somewhat unorthodox, so I want to ask you all this week, what is the most unorthodox build you have ever used? It could be a slow dagger build, a pedal to the metal great hammer build, or a caster build with low intelligence and or faith. So let me know how weird you get with builds in the comments down below. As always, this video is sponsored by my new novel out now, Follow the Gleam. Thank you very much to everyone that has purchased it already. I host this in-person writers group at my house every single Friday, and there are 2 plays in the novel, so for one of them, my friends and I all selected characters and we did a live performance. And it was really funny to see everyone else's interpretation of my characters. So if you're interested in a dark fantasy inspired by the greatest modernist authors that have ever lived, check out the link down in the description below. And as always, for more videos like this, uploaded every Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, be sure to like and subscribe to The Jersey Side. For talismans, of course I had the Axe Talisman, for better fully charged heavy attacks, the Two-Handed Sword Talisman, for the heavies and the light attacks, the Dragon Crest Great Shield, for 20% more physical damage negation, and of course that Kindred of Rot's exaltation, for 20% more damage when poison or rot is procced in the area. The increased stamina regeneration was reallocated to the Flask, as I used the Green Burst Crystal tier for better stamina regeneration. I also used, of course, the Spiked Crack tier. This gives us better fully charged heavy attacks. Our stats at RL 170 were 60 Vigor, 19 Mind for the incantations, 35 Endurance, 80 Dexterity, as this is our damage scaling, and 25 Faith to use Golden Vow. I needed something slower paced after using the hook claws last week, so this heavy attacking katana really hit the spot for this video. If you have yet to try the strangest katana in the game, this is your reminder to do so.